In September 2017, the Popes Glen Bushcare Group invited us to a field day at Blackheath in the Blue Mountains, where their innovative and successful restoration project is nearing completion.
What we've done, as you'll see, is we've converted what was an environmental wasteland, a highly degraded, highly braided silt swamp infested with huge stands of mature willow, Salix fragilis, and other things like blackberry and privet. And we've converted it into what will become, on the trajectory of becoming, a Blue Mountains temperate peat swamp on Sandstone, which is one of the endangered ecological communities. We started in 1990 as a community group who just residents around the catchment when we were concerned about a huge infestation of holly. So for the first 10 years, we worked the whole of the catchment, the Popes Glen catchment, all the way from here right down to the escarpment, right down through the Blue Mountain City Council Bushland Reserve, which goes down to the boundary of the national park, and then we collaborated very closely with national parks to continue the work from that boundary right down to the escarpment. So in those 10 years, we pretty much eradicated all the weeds that were present in the entire catchment. And so then in 2002, we thought it was time to tackle the huge challenge that we'd all been avoiding. And all the experts said, don't even think about it. You couldn't possibly do it. Volunteer group just could not do it. And so we're really proud to be able to show you today the result of those 15 years of work beginning in 2002. Now, the origin of that silt flat was this. All the roads around this catchment had been dirt, and they were prone to erosion. And every time it rained, it washed off into the creek. And eventually it got very potholy and very corrugated, so council came along and spread some road base and graded it all out and rolled it. And then it rained again and washed more in. So over the decades, we've got an accumulation of silt down here, which basically filled the valley and then became colonized with all of these weeds. In tackling this willow infestation on this silt flat, we had two problems to deal with. The first was how to remove these huge willow trees and all the understory of other weeds and revegetate that site without removing so much vegetation so quickly that we risked destabilizing the silt and causing a massive collapse of the silt flat down into the valley. The second problem, which was kind of linked to that, was the stormwater surges. This catchment is bounded by the ridge there to the south, the ridge there to the north, the ridge there to the west, and so it encompasses quite a big proportion of the whole town of Blackheath. So we've got a large area of largely impermeable surface. So even a small amount of rain is all funneled down into this creek. So with just 10 millimetres of rain, we get a massive torrent. So the other problem that we had to deal with was how to manage stormwater and erosion and siltation. And I have to say that this would not have been possible without the ongoing support we've had from council at all levels and the wonderful bushcare officers that we've had right through those, 16 now years. The other factor in our success has been the very generous grants that we've had from the Environmental Trust of New South Wales Government. And without the current grant that we've got, a 6-year grant that ends next year, without that, we could not have completed this project that we started all those years ago. At the end of the grant period, at the end of next year, we will have completed the rehabilitation of this highly degraded silt flat. And it's been written up in a booklet, a photo history called Decades of Healing. It's available as a print copy for sale, or it's available free for download from a website.